Somewhere over the rainbow way up high, there's a place that I heard of now in any lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow way. Anyway, listen, you need to go on and get that download from Stone Thug Music if you want to hear the rest of that. But anyway, this is Stone Thug, comedian, singer, poet, and true life adventurer sometimes. Anyway, this is a tale about a tornado and a water spout that yours truly was caught in. And this is a true story, and it's about me and my dad on Lake Michigan. I'm not sure if it was Lake Erie or Lake Supreme. It's one of the Great Lakes over in Michigan when we were fishing when I was a child. And basically, I get a little choked up sometimes telling the story because naturally something like that was a little devastating for a young teenager like myself at the time. And how I got caught and sucked up in the water spout as well as the tornado. Well, what happened, it wasn't two different things. They were two different, they were the same. I'm not sure if it was a water spout that turned into a tornado or a tornado that turned into a water spout. To be honest with you, I don't know. I can't remember. And I can't remember a lot of details about it. But what I can remember, I thought I would share with, some of my friends and people. Because, people have terrible, horrible experiences sometimes. And they live through it. And they want to share, I guess, to encourage other people. Now, I apologize for telling this story the way I'm telling it. When I think about when I think about what happened, it's it affects you certain kind of ways. So in my experience, basically recalling what happened, it was not it's not a good experience. But I don't know I don't know how this can help you, because really it's not like most of you ever gonna have an experience like that, being sucked up in a tornado, unless your name is Dorothy and you live in Kansas. But basically, what happened in my case is we were fishing. We lived in Michigan, and we decided to go fishing. And my dad, it was just me and my dad, was out on a small boat. And what happened was when we were out on the boat fishing, we had been fishing all day, had a great time. My dad had not caught anything, and I had caught a couple of fish myself, rock bass, by the way. And what happened when we were out there fishing, we had taken, I guess it was a little motorboat. We were not really familiar with, boats and whatever. Most of the time when we fished in the past, it was basically fishing from the shore, because that's the only kind of fishing we knew. I mean, we're not, we're city boys. We don't know about no deep sea fishing or nothing like that. Of course, this was Great Lakes, and the Great Lakes, they're pretty, you might think, oh, it's a lake, Great Lakes, but you have to remember that you can actually see the Great Lakes from the moon. So it's not like some tiny little lake, some little body of water. It's extremely large body of water. I mean, it might be as large as, a couple of 100 miles across. Just the width, not the length. So what happened was we took this little boat. We had no business with going that far out there, but we had gone so far out on this boat that you literally could not see the land where we were. I mean, you gone pretty far when you got like a 20. I guess it was maybe 12, 14 feet long boat. So, I mean, that's really like, a boat for like staying close to the shore. It's not really like it's not a sailboat, it's not a big boat, it's just a rowboat, actually, with a little motor on it. And you out so far where you can't see land anymore, So what happened was we were out there and, we caught our fish. We had a good time, and we decided that we would go to sleep. We got sleepy. We went to sleep. And something, like I felt something wake me up. It's almost like as though I felt someone grab me. And when they grabbed me and shook me, I woke up because I thought it was my dad. And there was nobody there. And what happened when I woke up, I, didn't notice anybody. My dad was laying there. He was asleep as well. So what I decided to do is check my lines, see if we caught anything. And just as I was doing it, this gigantic yacht came by. It was 3 or 4 levels high. And I guess, I don't know, but, it looked like it was 100 feet long. Or it could have been even bigger. I don't know. But anyway, it had some people on the back. And me being a teenager, but I don't know, 14, 16 years old. I saw some girls in bikinis in the back. So, you see the girls, she's like, hey, how you doing? It's a bunch of white folks. And they looked at me, and they had a very puzzled look on their face. And, their body language was, like, not friendly. They were not nice, friendly type of, hey, how you doing type of expressions they had. So, being a kid and whatever, first thing, I figure, well, maybe, I don't know, they don't like strangers. Or they don't like the dark. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they thought we were out here with a little boat. We had no business. I don't know. But they were not smiling. They were not, like, really happy to see us. They kind of looked. It was a puzzled look. Now, we wasn't that close to their face or whatever. It was, they were very puzzled. But what these good people did, and they were good people, they turned that entire yacht, I told you how big it was, around to come back to us to tell us to get our butts back to land. Because there was a storm coming. And we out here in this little rowboat. And they told us, look, we're gonna have to head back to shore, and you're gonna have to head back there now. There's a storm coming. Now, that was scary to say that, and I looked up. It was the most beautiful sky you ever seen. I mean, it was this perfect day that you could ever see. So what happened was I said, okay, sure, yeah. So they turned it around as, they was talking to us or hollering at us as the boat was coming by, and it was massive. I mean, it was massive. It literally looked like maybe, a quarter of a city block long. I mean, it was a gigantic boat. So what happened was, I woke my dad up and I said, Dad, people came by, boop, boop, boop. And they said it was, a storm was coming. We got to head back to shore. We got to, So he looked around, clouds, not a cloud in the sky. So what happened was we decided to do what they said. Pull up all our gear. We didn't see any clouds, but we decided to head to shore. So we started to head for shore, and we saw shore. We could see it. And we was thankful for that. And it's not a cloud in the sky still. We got all the way to shore to about a city block from shore. Then we got to maybe half a block from shore. And we said, it's so nice out here. It's so beautiful. Let's just do a little more fishing. And then, when the clouds started coming or whatever, because we didn't know nothing about how storms come on lakes and on water. And anybody out there who's a real fisherman or a real sportsman dealing with boats, they can tell you that it's not like a land storm. Land storms are very, 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 very different. When you're on the water, they come like that. And but we didn't know that. So we came almost to shore. We could literally see shore. And you could throw a rock and almost hit shore. So we figured we were pretty safe. I looked over to my right, and what I saw was about a mile from where we were, there was what you call a wave breaker. And this wave breaker is a extended pile of gigantic broken up pieces of concrete that extended out into the waters. And what they call them wave breakers, because what happens is when the big waves come in, they won't go entirely to the homes and destroy and do damage to the homes. They would hit these gigantic pieces of concrete and they would bust up. And for whatever reason, I just happened to look over there and notice it because it was extended in the water and it was quite a distance away, but not too far. You can see it pretty easy. It's about a mile away. So what happened was we were fishing, and I noticed that when I looked up, I noticed that I saw a real strange sight. There were clouds, and these clouds wasn't really like, almost looked like alien ships. Still follow me. I'm Stone Thug. I'm the entertainer. I'm not losing my mind. I said it looked like alien crafts, but they were not alien craft. At least I don't think they were. They looked as black and shiny as my glasses. Okay? And they were together, tip to rear of the clouds. It was very, very extremely dark, but not shiny like my glasses. Very dark, and they were like weaving together, almost like braids. Like you see those young black girls used to have these thick braids, and they were different from little white girls' braids, because little white girls' braids are different. But black girls' braids are real thick, like little knots, all knotted together in a line. Well, these were like those, and they were all together like a quilt. And it was almost like the sky was pulling a quilt. Something was pulling a quilt over the sky. But it was thousands of these little, almost exact same size little knots up in the sky. Now, they were clouds. They actually were clouds. But they were the darkest, most thick, most intense, round, almost a perfect size clouds you ever seen in your life. I've never seen anything like that. But what I hadn't seen either was the speed in which the clouds came over the sky. Literally, you could count to 30 almost, and they were halfway there. So I didn't realize what was befalling us any moment. I just realized that these clouds were, fascinating to look at. You've never seen anything like this. And it was like a quilt. They were all together, not like cumulus clouds or cumulus clouds. They're not the busted up clouds you can look through, not the dark, rainy clouds we're used to seeing in the city. These really thick clouds. And so these clouds were coming over us like a blanket. And just then, my dad caught his first fish. And he was reeling in his first fish. And I just began to think that, maybe something is about to go down that's not going to be nice. My dad wheels in his fish, caught a rock bass, bigger than both of his hands. He's very happy. Reaches down, take a drink. Soon as he reaches up to take a drink, I turn to my right, I guess. Yes, and I never saw the funnel of the water spout or the tornado. I didn't even know it was a water spout or a tornado to the next day, till a day or so after, until it came out on the news. I don't remember anything except a gigantic dust cloud, looked like, skipping off the water. And if you ever notice a tornado or a water spout, they got this little frizzy that's around the tube itself, the suction tube. It's this frizzy. And that's what we got caught up in. What happened was, it was moving. All I saw was something that looked like it was 2 city blocks, probably in length, and probably 3 or 4 stories high. But it was moving at some incredible speed. I never saw the funnel. And what happened was, I looked at it, and all I had time to say was, "Dad, look!" And that was it. I don't think all of the word "look" actually came out before this thing grabbed us and snatched us up. Now, the force, the power, the energy from this this lift was the most powerful thing I ever experienced in my life. I mean, it ripped us in a moment. It just sucked us, just snatched us out from where we were. I mean, literally almost snatch us out of our shoes. We didn't have our shoes on after it was over with. And it sucked up the boat. It sucked up my dad. It sucked up me. We were just like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. We literally, when Dorothy is looking in the house and stuff is flying around, that's how Dorothy was. That's how me and my dad was. We were in the boat. Now, what happened, the part that I recall, that I can recall, is when there was a point where it was just silence. It seemed like it was happening in my mind. That's how it was. So we managed some kind of way, thanks to the grace of God. And yes, I do believe in God. So if I lose you with that, I'm sorry, because I would love to give credit to man. If there was some guy out there holding that boat, I'd be like, "Oh, man is wonderful." In the boat, we were in the boat. Like, if you take a bucket of water and you spin it around and the water don't come out the bucket, I guess it was something like that. That's all I can contribute to, because we did not fall out the boat. The little boat we were in, remember, it was small. It's like 14, 10, 12 feet long, maybe 4 feet across, not even 4 feet across, you know. I looked up out of the boat to see what was going on. When I looked up, I'm supposed to be looking up at the sky, right? But when I looked up, I was literally looking down on the water. I can see the white heads, the caps, the white caps, on the water. And I'm guessing, but it looked like probably were 5 stories, 3 stories, 5 stories high. That's how it looked. This was all in a split second, because when I looked up out of the boat, I was literally looking upside down. The boat was turned upside down, and I was trying to look up, but I was literally looking down at the water. And all I thought in that instance, in that moment, was, I want to go back to where I was. So I stuck my head back between my legs, like they tell you to do when you're in an airplane. I just didn't want, I knew whatever it wasn't right. So I stuck my head back between my legs. Stuck my head. I went back down. The only thing I remember after that is waking up on that wave breaker. And I guess it was about a quarter mile away. I thought it was about a mile, but I guess it either threw us the whole, we estimate about a quarter of a mile. It threw the boat, destroyed the boat up on the wave breaker, busted it up. it was aluminum, so it didn't break, but it was all totally, just dented up like it was in a car crash. And these wave breaker stones were sharp, like you bust up a sidewalk. That's where they got the rocks from, like busting up the sidewalks that you walk down. That's made out of that thick, thick concrete. That's what we woke up between. Now we was all busted and bleeding and everything, but my dad was on one side. He was alive. He lived. And I'm talking to you now and telling the story, so obviously I lived. We had no broken bones. We had lots of cuts and stuff. And literally our limbs were between the points because wave breakers are very pointy. If I would have stood up and just fell on the point, I would have died. Some kind of way, this thing threw us a quarter of a mile from the sky. When we were in the sky, it slinged us. So I guess, the part that spins, I don't know if we ever got into I guess we got enough in it where it threw us opposed to just sucking us. But we ended up on the wave breaker. Now, from the time I left my head up between my legs, I don't know what happened because we literally was knocked unconscious. But when we finally woke up, whenever that was, I couldn't honestly tell you right now how long it was. We finally woke up. He was bleeding. He was busted. I was busted up, and the boat was on top of us, and you could hear it was like an end of the world. It was hell. It was totally pitch black. And remember now, just a few moments earlier, it literally was like a perfect spring day. The cloud came, that took all of 5 minutes, and then I don't know how long we were knocked out. But from that time, it was like being in the middle of every bomb that Vietnam War ever dropped. I mean, it was hell the size of golf balls. The noise was just unbelievable. It was dark, lightning everywhere. It was just the middle of hell. And we kept the boat on top of us, it was banged up, whatever, but it stayed with us. For some reason, everything stayed together. Not our stuff or our shoes and all that kind of stuff was gone. Fish was gone. Everything was gone. But my dad, when the boat landed, it landed on top of us. And literally, when I saw my dad, he still had the bottle that he was drinking to celebrate his first fish still up to his mouth. So, I can't remember if it was broke or not, but it happened that fast. He never was able just to do this and let the bottle go. He never could do it. Now, I slipped off the rocks that I was on, or slipped between them, and slipped down from where I was on the wave breaker. And I slipped down to the bottom of where the wave breaker was built up to, and it went down about 15 feet. My body was completely numb, and I landed on some coils, which seems like an old mattress or something that was underneath the water. And I wasn't a great swimmer or anything, but my body was numb. It was like my brain and my body was numb. I couldn't really. And when I slipped down, I tried to come back up. The coils from the old mattress caught my foot, and I could not yank myself loose. So I literally had to bow down and unwind the coils from the old mattress that was been submerged under this water, 20 feet of water, 15 feet of water. For however long it was down, they had to uncoil them around my legs. When I pulled up, they caught me. Then I floated back up to the top. When I floated back up to the top, I literally was still under the boat. Shortly after that, the Coast Guard came. And the Coast Guard, just like in the movies, great guys. God bless the Coast Guard, the American Coast Guard, Coast Guards, wherever country you're from. You never hear people talk about the Coast Guard much, but the Coast Guard came and got the brothers, okay? Never ever seen in your life Coast Guard actually come and get a brother. But it happens. It happened in real life. They came and got us. I'm happy to say it. Of course, they were going to get us in the American Coast Guard, but they did their job excellently. They were excellent. It was just like in any classic movie you sing. Fire departments, the departments, they came and they got us. They wrapped us up. And somebody had reported, I guess, that our boat had exploded on these rocks, and they took us in. And as they were taking us in, almost through the story now. Sorry it was so long. As they were taking us in, we saw the pier, and we saw a line of boats, a line of yachts, large and small. Must have been, I would guess, between 20, less than 50, all capsized. 10-footers, 30-footers, 50-footers, all capsized, trying to get back into that harbor, trying to get back to the dock. And they didn't make it. That storm just came and just wiped everybody off. So what we know would happen from a day or so after, the newspapers, it said it was a tornado. And it was a water spout, because it started on the water, it looked like, and then it turned into a tornado when it hit land. Or it was a tornado that turned into a water spout. To this day, I don't know, because it was many, many, many moons ago, back in Michigan, which they normally don't have tornadoes, but, you know, everything's been changing in the world. So they had a tornado. It was out on the water. It hit, it was land, because we were close to land, so it was either one or the other. I mean, it was both. I mean, we know it was confirmed, but it was both. But, yeah, we were sucked up in it. So I lived. I get a little emotional sometimes talking about it because, well, you ever been through hell, you know how it is. So, just wanted you guys to know, yes, I'm Stone Thug. Yes, I'm a tough guy. Yes, I'm a brother. But even a brother, it's the power of a brother. Can't do nothing with Mother Nature. All right. Glad to share that with you. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed telling you. I finally got a chance to tell the whole story. I told little bits and pieces before on YouTube, but never the whole enchilada. So I hope that encouraged you some way to know that, well, if you ever caught up in a tornado that turns into a water spout that throws you a quarter of a mile, that there is a God. And now even atheists can look at me and say, I don't believe in God. But got a point. All right, peace. It's your boy Stone Thug. Peace out.